I'm Peter Orker of Peter Orker Piano Tuition, and it's time for today's Tuesday tip for better piano playing. And just to remind you, this is the third Tuesday tip to deal with one particular thing, which is how to prepare a performance of a piece of music from scratch. And for my example, I've been preparing the Allemande from the Fifth French Suite by Bach, a piece of music that I personally had never played before, and so it's been quite fun to pull that out of the cupboard and start it off from scratch and just go through that process with you watching and seeing how I go about that. You might remember, if you've been following this, that I've been through a couple of stages. First of all was to familiarise with myself with the music by listening to a performance of it on a recording, well in fact on a YouTube video of somebody performing it. Next I did what I call a muddle through performance, so basically just try and play it through, warts and all, if there's lots and lots of mistakes. Not worrying too much about those, just getting from the beginning to the end, just to see really the landscape of the piece and what the likely difficulties might be. And then the next stage, which we looked at in the last video, was to do some start off the serious practice. I explained about the rule of 50%, which is where we find the ideal speed for the piece, and then using a metronome cut that speed in half and work on it at 50% of the correct speed. And I was illustrating how starting that off using each hand separately, and that was the stage that we left it at last time. So picking up from there, I haven't looked at the piece in between times, so I'm coming at it again from just that stage. So the next thing I would do is actually do a hands together performance at a slower speed. Now I'm not going to go 50% speed because I don't think I need to go that slowly. You may need to, depending on your playing ability and depending on the difficulty of the piece. There would be, if I was tackling a difficult Beethoven sonata or something, then yeah, I may well need to keep that speed at 50%. So I'm going to go a little bit faster than 50% of the speed. A few guiding principles before I begin. Number one, always keep your plan of fingering consistent every time you play. Use the same fingering plan, and that is why I strongly advise you to get a pencil and write in as much of the fingering as you need to in order to achieve that consistency of fingering. Once you start changing the fingering every time you play it, that's when problems are going to start occurring. I would say probably 70 to 80% of problems playing a piece are due to awkward fingering. So if you've worked it out in advance, carefully, with a pencil, writing it all in, be very strict with yourself and stick to that plan of fingering. Another guidance, rule of guidance, is to never let a mistake go uncorrected. So if you make a mistake when you're playing, when you're practicing, stop, look at the mistake you made, maybe work on it just hand separately for a bit until you can cure that mistake, and then play the bar before, then the bar which contained the mistake, then the bar afterwards. If the mistake is then eradicated from your performance, great. Go back to the beginning of the piece and play through, and probably 80% of the time that mistake is sorted, it's dealt with. Some of the time it isn't. You still go back to it and you make the same mistake. I'm afraid there's no shortcuts on this. You need to be patient. Just keep repeating that process. Go back to the mistake, hone in, focus in exactly what is it that's causing the music to trip up at that point. It might be awkward fingering, it might be your hand position is slightly in the wrong place, might be a lack of anticipating notes which are coming up, all sorts of things which we can deal with in future Tuesday tips actually. But don't let a mistake go uncorrected, otherwise, because if you do that, you embed the mistake into your performance. It becomes part of your performance, and trust me, once that happens, they are incredibly difficult to get rid of, like sort of bad habits really. So that's a guiding principle. That's a really important principle. That if you find you're making lots of mistakes when you're trying the hands together practice, my advice would be to take the tempo back slower again, even if it's less than 50%, whatever it needs to be. Find a tempo at which you can play the music fluently without mistakes, even if it's at a really snail's pace. And here's where the patience comes in. A lot of piano playing is hard work and patience, but it pays off in the end. So I'm going to play this first time, hands together, properly focused, hopefully. I'm going to hope I'm not going to make any mistakes, because that might be a bit boring for people to watch me going back over mistakes and correcting them. But if that happens, I'm going to do that, absolutely. The other thing I'm going to do on this, I didn't do on the hands separately practice now. There are a few ornaments in this, trills and things. And I'm going to put those in. I'm going to try and put those in. Here we go. As before, because of time constraints and everything, I'm just going to do the first page of this on camera. The second page I will do off camera, and then we'll reconvene next Tuesday, and we'll take it to the next stage. And I hope you can see that we're gradually getting there with this piece. So here we go. I'm going to play this not quite 50% speed, a little bit faster than that, but let's see how we go. Right, there's a little blip there, so I'm going to go back to the well, I'm just going to actually play that bar where that happened. That's better. Okay, let's put it all back together again. Missed a note in the left hand. Should be doing that. I missed that middle note out. I'm just going to do that little bit. Do it again. Now just do a little bit more than that. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Alright, I'm going to lead into that from the previous bar. Now, in normal practice, I would go back to the very beginning and just continue, do that all again, because that's probably not that interesting to watch. I'm just going to go from the bar before I made that mistake now and plough on from there. Okay, so forgive me for disobeying my own rules here. In real life, if I was just doing this without a camera on me, I would go back to the beginning. But I'm going to just go back to the previous bar and continue from there. reasonably happy with that. As I said, in real life, well, this is real life, but if I wasn't filming myself doing this, I would have actually gone back. I would go back. I'll now do that. I would now do that page again at that speed. And in fact, I will do that, and then I'll carry on onto the second page. But I won't bore you with that for you to watch through that. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that was some help in showing you the process of creating a piece of music, or recreating a piece of music really, practicing a piece of music from scratch. We're getting there with this, aren't we? So I've now got this hands together at a little bit more than 50% of the speed that I'm aiming at. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of that page and I'm going to practice it again. I might do it a few times actually, just to get it really embedded in my fingers. I'll also go and do the second page as well. So I'll get on with that, and if you like this video, then do give us a like or share, and I'll see you on the next one, and we'll see where we can take that from here. So I'm just going to play these two pages again at that sort of speed, but not on camera. Okay, so I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.